Steve, I'm guessing the aim of the exercise is to round off a very good week, make sure it finishes even better, isn't it?
I mean, that would be ideal, of course. You know, we've had a good week in terms of the result against Cardiff and getting through in the Cup. It would be terrific if now we can get another result against Newcastle, but as I've just said to the radio there, it's not going to be easy. Newcastle have got a very, very good away record. If you look at their away record, I think it's as good as any in the division. And of course, they've got 2 or 3 players back, which, you know, has helped them enormously. Last weekend they got off to winning ways again, and with Remy and Tiote and Colaccini all available, they're obviously a different proposition to what they were maybe a month ago. So a big game for everybody, big full house I believe again, so all to play for.
But it's March, you've hit 30 points already. In effect, what have you got? 2 months to find 8 more, is that right?
Well, I think I said to you in the first time we spoke 7 months ago, we need 10 wins. And if you get to 10 wins, that's always, for me, going to be enough, you know, to keep you safe. That was always the aim. So we've won 8. It's been difficult getting the 8. How difficult it is to win in the Barclays Premier League is ridiculous. But you're right, we've come to March, we've got 10, 11 games to go. Our aim is now, can we sustain it? Can we stay there where we are at the moment? At the moment, we're probably second top of our division. West Ham are above us. You know, and there's 11 teams. Can we stay there? That's got to be the aim, to try and see it through if we possibly can.
And this place has been crucial, really, hasn't it? It makes the away wins the bonus.
Well, we always knew away from home, when you looked at our fixtures, we had all the big teams. We had the top 8. We had the top 8 in our first 8 or 9 games away from home. So what was going to be crucial for us was, of course, our home form, which I think every club needs if you're going to be avoiding relegation. And if you can win a few games away from home against teams in and around you. And we've managed to do that in the last couple of games, which has given us that breathing space. We've gone to Sunderland and won it, and we've gone to Cardiff last week. So I hope that continues, because we've still got 3 or 4 teams around us away from home. And of course, if your home form you can sustain your home form, then we could have a very, very good end to the season. That's got to be the aim if we can.
In terms of the players that you've brought in, is that all nicely settled in as well now?
Well, I mean, the one thing I needed from all of them was to hit the ground running. And thankfully, bar none, all have come in and had a good start. I mean, now Long and Jelavic, in particular, have come in January, and they've got 5 goals in 5 games between them, which is just what we needed, just at the right time. You know, and you go back to the summer, McGregor hasn't played in the Barclays Premier League. He comes in, does fantastically well. Curtis Davis, Figueroa, and the 2 boys from Tottenham, they've all come in and hit the ground running, which has obviously helped the squad and helped the team and helped us achieve what we've got so far.
Also, somebody like Steve Harper,
oh.
when called on, everybody seems to have done their bit when called on.
Well, he's done exactly what I knew he would do. He's got that vital experience of being in and around the league for the last 20 years. And I think he's proved of what an excellent goalkeeper he really is. I mean, you know, talking to him, and I know he's a Newcastle lad, of course, and he's been so loyal to Newcastle, it's scary, but, you know, it must have been a big call for him in his younger days to remain, you know, behind Shea Given, who was an excellent goalkeeper for years, because he's proved what an outstanding goalkeeper he is. And of course, he's given us that experience which we've needed in the dressing room to give people a hand. He's been terrific, absolutely.
Any reflection on the England squad for the next game?
I don't think we have to. I don't think if any player would have to look at it and think, of course there's going to be, is this the 32 that Roy's going to pick from? Who knows? Only Roy knows that himself. But in my experience, there's always somebody who comes from nowhere and goes and makes the World Cup. And it could be one of ours. That's got to be the aim for it. They've got to keep plugging away, play well for their club, and, you know, something might open up. But I wouldn't read into it too much, but obviously I'm not the one to ask, because Roy's the one.
It is a winner for you in a sense, isn't it? Because it's a nice little, if there was any additional motivation required, it's still there.
It's still, yeah, of course it's still there. When it's a World Cup year, whatever nationality you are, if your country's there, then of course your aim is to keep playing well. And can you force, I mean, for any player to go to the World Cup in Brazil, of all places, must be the highlight of anybody's career, and it's still all to play for as far as I'm concerned.
Just a final one for me. On reflection on the week, it's not been a great week in Europe.
No.
Where does that pitch the Premier League in terms of its status amidst everybody else?
Well, I think the big disappointment was, you know, Man City, you play against 10 men. Arsenal against Bayern Munich, 10 men. Then you really are up against two of the great teams of Europe, of Barcelona and Bayern Munich. You know, and them two teams in particular, fielding 10 men. Chelsea have got themselves in a wonderful position, and of course, Man U've got it still all to do. They haven't performed on the night, unfortunately, the other night. So, still all to play for. It's going to be very, very difficult. But Tottenham are there last night, which I still believe it's the biggest and best spectacle. It might not be the outstanding league that everybody says it is, but for me, it's the best spectacle we've got, because it doesn't happen very often abroad that the bottom teams can turn over the top ones. It doesn't happen very often. It happens a lot in this league we're playing in.
Steve, Alan Pardew says you're the manager of the year.
Ah, he's not playing mind games and all that nonsense, is he?
That's this year.
That's this year. We've only been going 6 weeks. It's very kind of him. It's very kind of him, and I'm not going to read too much into that, but that's very kind of him.
So you beat Newcastle in September, and that, I think, was one
Well,
of
I
the
think,
better days
yeah.
for you, wasn't it? You can do the double.
Well, I think that the victory at St James's Park gave everybody a lift at a particular time, that we can't play on this level. We can't perform at this level if we're at our best. It's never easy to go and win at St James's Park. It was a great game. It was a great game last time out. We went behind. Aluko wins it with a great goal in the finish, and I think that was the day that all the players looked at themselves and thought, you know what it is, it's going to be difficult, this league, but we can't perform in it if we play well. And I think that performance in particular, going back last September, just at the right time, give everybody a boost that we needed.
So doing a double over Newcastle, which you can now do, you know, that's another little benchmark, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's there for us to try and grasp if we can. I mean, I'm not just thinking over doubles over Newcastle because I'm from Newcastle, but if we can beat them, we've now got 33 points with 10 games to spare. That is a huge achievement, and you know, puts us in a really strong position, because I've always said that you need 10 wins, and if you get to 10 wins, then a newly promoted club, you're very unfortunate if you're going to get relegated from that situation. So still all to play for, but we know how difficult it is. We've been going 7 months, it's March, and we think we've had a wonderful season and we've won 8 times. That's how difficult it is. But we're top of our league at the moment, maybe second top to West Ham. The aim is, can we stay there? Can we go and cement a position where we are at the moment?
They've actually lost 6 and 9. When they won last week. It's a bit of a cliche, but is this a good time to play Newcastle?
Well, when you take Cabaye, Tiote, Colaccini and Loic Remy out the team, then that's a good time to play Newcastle. It's like any team, any big team. If you take your 3 or 4 best players, and for me they are the 3 or 4 best players, away from it, then you'd rather play them then. They all came in, sod's law, they all came back in last week, and all of a sudden they're a different proposition again, which is understandable, because they're all very good players, and that spine of that team is them. You know, Tiote, the captain, Colaccini, I'm a big admirer of. Of course, they've got to get over the loss of Cabaye, and Loic Remy's got 14 goals in the Premier League this year, so that's where their strength is for me. And all round that, they've got some good players. They're a good side when they're all fit and they're all available. They're a very good side. And let's not forget, they're at 40 points with 11 games to go, so they've had a wonderful season so far.
And I'm sure you're the first to point out to your squad that 30 points is fine, but 40 would be better. You've got a bit to do yet.
We've still got a lot to do yet, and we've had a good week, but it all starts again. And we're going in now to March. We've got 3 huge games on the trot at home. We go to Newcastle at home, then we've got Sunderland in the quarter-final, then Man City at home. So a big few weeks. Can we go and win it? A couple of them would be terrific.
I think so you've got 4 in a row. you've got West Brom after that as well.
It's got West Brom after that, haven't it?
Yeah, so that's unusual, isn't it?
It is unusual. I mean, the cup, obviously, the cup. We're delighted we're at home in the cup, but I didn't quite realise that. I only go to 3 games at a time.
I thought you always took 1 game.
Yeah, all cliches here.
Yeah, that's one from me. If I'd have offered you in August, quarter-finals of the cup, 30 points by the end of February,
I wouldn't have thought.
I would have thought I was having a laugh.
I would have thought, yeah, you're having a laugh. I wouldn't have thought it'd be possible, but we've had a good time of it. It's been difficult at times. We had a difficult January, but all of a sudden I think we've lost 1 in the last 6. So some good form going into now the critical part. Now's the critical part. Can we see it through? Have we got the strength and character to see it through? I sincerely hope so. It's been a long, difficult winter. The white balls are out tomorrow again, so that's a sign that spring is here. There's light at the end of the tunnel in a difficult league, but we've enjoyed it. I think we've played our part in it. We've just got to see it through now over the next 10, 11 games.
Thanks. And the link-up play with the 2 new strikers looks very good already. Is that work on the training ground, or is it just 2 good players playing together?
I think just 2 good players playing together. I mean, we'd love to say, and I'm sure Steve Agnew will be the first to say, oh yes, it's all on the training ground. They're good players. And good players, there's a lot said about coaching and all the rest of it. A good player is a good player. And in management, the more good players you've got, the easier it becomes. And certainly them at the time, just at the right time, have come in and all of a sudden we're a different animal up front. That's no disrespect to what we've got before. But at the end of the day, they're 2 £6 million players. So you would expect them to be very, very good. And we're delighted we've got them. I think they're a terrific partnership. And I hope it continues the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, Yellow's first goal last week, they just seems to be on the same wavelength already, which is quite good.
Well, the second goal we scored against Cardiff was fantastic front play from the 2 of them. And that's what you invest in, that's why I've said repeatedly, you can play poorly, and let me tell you, up until 35 minutes at Cardiff, we were playing poorly. We weren't really at our best at all, but something out of nothing, they can create and give you that little bit of something which we didn't have before, and score a goal like that, which then helps everybody. You get 2-0 up in the Premier League, and usually Cardiff then have got to chase the game, and there's holes all over the place. So they were excellent, and Jelavic in particular, from he scored at Sunderland, all of a sudden now has got the confidence of a striker who thinks he's going to score every week, which is terrific to see, because we talk about the English players, and in particular going to the World Cup, he's desperate, and he could kick off the World Cup. He could be the first player to kick off the World Cup. They play Brazil. Mandzukic, the Bayern Munich centre forward, is suspended, so it's all to play for Big Yella, and he's got some competition, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing against Brazil, which would be terrific for all Hull fans to see him play.
In terms of Bobby Brady, has there been an update in the last couple of days?
I think we're due to see another specialist on him. We're taking the advice of 1 or 2 specialists in that area. It's now become obviously a concern. Way back in the day, whenever it was before we played Everton, we thought it was a simple hernia operation, what footballers seem to have, every other week. It seems to be a little bit more than that. Unfortunately, we think it's a new injury. So we've got to explore it. But if I'm being honest, it's not looking great for Robbie at the moment, with only 2 months of the season left.
Yeah, so for the foreseeable, he's not going to be involved.
No, not at the moment.
Have you got any other particular injury problems?
No, McShane has his operation on Monday, and that's about it. Everybody else is okay.